Hey guys, Dylan Tommy here. It's time to check out the Paludarium. I have some future plans for it, so I'd like to give you guys a look at it, show you what's going on with the system, and tell you what I'm about to do. We'll dive right into the water feature. The water feature is looking great, and I told you all I've done is let the moss grow out. I think I'll trim it down so it looks a little more uniform in certain places. I have trimmed some of the baby tiers down here. They cut them back real small. And we'll likely do the same with the moss, just to make it look a little more neat inside there in that water feature. But the system itself is very stable. It's not a large water volume to manage, and with all the great vegetation, it's awesome. Even with everything that comes off the face, all this dirt and life in the tank. But the update is most definitely the vegetation in here. Check out the depressa. This Pelia depressa has grown everywhere. It's all over every platform for the most part, and has done well inside this system. Really cool looking plant, and has overgrown a lot of the other species. You know, the other species hasn't even done as well. I had a bromeliad. This guy was one of the biggest ones. He was growing out real well, and not so well anymore. Same thing with these other two. They start growing pups, and they're doing okay up here, but just not growing as large as they should compared to the vine type Pelia. The other pups right here are actually covered by the vine. You can barely see them. But the system's great, and the only inhabitant is the little newt, and he's hiding in his little cave down here. And it's kind of cool that the Pelia depressa has grown like this. It gives him more of a coverage, and it's cool. He actually comes out when I go into the tank. It's his stimulant to being fed, so he'll come right to this little opening. Is that him right there? Can't tell. And wait for his food. But there's the Paludarium, and my plan, and I hate to even say it, but I'm going to trim all this Pelia depressa, all this large overhanging growth. I mean, right down to, the old dead moss, just because it blocks out too much light. You can't see the landscape itself. You can't see the curvature and all the work that I put in creating the art in this cavern. So my plan is to remove this big vine that's really taken over, and hopefully try to grow some of the smaller species, which I have a little experiment down here, and I think they look a lot better. They're more compact. They do a lot better on the moss itself. I'm hoping to get some of the moss to come back to life here. You see some green down there. But this was initially the aquatic form of the Pelia, of the baby tiers rather, and I get it to grow out here terrestrially, and like I said, my plan is to try to get that form to grow on the rock wall. And it won't be so big. You won't have this big hanging, vine type. As cool as that looks, it's one plant, or one species rather, that's pretty much taken over the entire Paludarium. So like I said, I'm going to trim it back a lot. There will be, little portions that I'll keep in certain areas, like for instance over here, I'll leave him his big coverage and overhang, and I kind of like in some areas where it droops over the water and where it's growing really healthy. But a lot of it, and I think mostly up here, will just be trimmed down. And I'd like to put some other type plants in here. Like I said, I definitely wanted to show all this lush vegetation because it's done so well, and I hate to do it, but I'm going for a different look for the spring. Hopefully it'll fill in by then. Like I said, I just think these look a little more tighter, more compact, and they don't block out too much light when they hang over the ridges here. There's a lot of holes and tunnels and rock work that you can't really see because they cover so much. So I kind of want to avoid that in the future and use a smaller type vine. So that's the update for the Paludarium. Hopefully I can get that going. I wanted to post this before I get trimming in there, because the next time you see it, it won't be so overgrown like this. Same thing with the water feature. I think I might trim down some of the moss, like I said, just to make it look a little more uniform, because that could be totally cleaned up in there. I did move the shrimp out. The shrimp ended up in the guppy tank, just because I was doing so much work in this tank. I didn't want to disturb them so much. They were really big red shrimp, the 5 that I pulled out of here, and doing so well, I didn't really want to beat them up with the amount of work I was doing in the system. But there it is. There's the Paludarium update, guys. I'm gonna do some trimming, and hopefully these other plants will stay healthy and grow well. This guy's been doing great. This is a new leaf, actually. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I appreciate it. Tango.